Hey, good morning, viewers. David Maxwell here, coming to you from the rooftop of my apartment building here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. You can take a quick look around. There's a nice Olympic training facility right here. We have an Olympic-sized swimming pool back there, some apartment buildings. It's a beautiful, bright, sunshiny, blue sky, white cloud day. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to do a little update here. So today I wanted to share with you a little bit about my new video series called The Truth. In the 10-part series, I'm going to cover just about everything you might want to know about teaching English abroad, with a specific focus on Vietnam. So I believe that some of you may appreciate my perspective for two specific reasons. First, I've lived here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, as an English teacher for almost 2 years now. So I'm speaking from a little of experience. Second, and I think this is the most important, I have no vested interest in your decisions. Most of the videos on the topic that you will find out there are slanted by the creators, in that they do have a vested interest in your decisions. Many of the videos that are put out by schools, certification schools, schools that will teach you how to teach English, help you get your TEFL or TESOL certification, and some of them even go on to help you find work in the area. So their goal is to convince you, first of all, to come to Vietnam or to whatever country the video is for. And the most important point is for you to use their program, to go through their program so that they earn the profits. And some of those programs can be quite expensive. So you kind of get what you pay for, but by the same token, when you watch those videos, you have to take into consideration they have a goal, a specific goal to get you to pay them money. So you may get a little bit of slanted truth in some of those videos. On the other hand, I have no vested interest in your decision making whatsoever. So my sole purpose is to provide you with some valuable information, some realistic and honest information about the experience, the process, what you can expect, what to look out for, where to go, things of that nature. So overall, I just want to give you some good, reliable information about the topic. Since you're viewing this video, I'm assuming you must be interested in the idea of teaching English abroad. On the surface, it sounds like a wonderful idea. Travel the world, experience different cultures, live cheap, earn lots of money, save a bundle, and see the world. So what's not to like about the hype, other than the fact that the majority of it is just that, hype? Now, don't get me wrong, some of you may take the plunge and love the experience. I have friends who absolutely love doing this, so I'm not trying to put you off on the idea at all. So even after watching my series and getting all the information I provide, you may well decide to take the plunge and travel abroad to teach English. And if you do, that's great. I just hope that some of the information I provide can help you with the process a little bit. So my goal isn't to turn you off on the idea at all. It's just to help you with your decision and preparations. So when I made my decision almost 2 years ago, I did it based on two factors. I had an ex-girlfriend who did this for quite a while, and she loved it. She worked out of China. So she was always talking about what a great experience it was, how much fun she was having, how much money she was saving, and how much she enjoyed the teaching itself. So that was one major factor. The other was all the information that I could watch on YouTube. I searched and searched and searched for every place, every location abroad to teach English, all the different schools and programs for getting certified, and I thought long and hard about it, but those were the two biggest factors that influenced my decision, is the experience of my ex-girlfriend and watching the videos on YouTube. Again, many of them slanted by the creators, but they still provided valuable information. So also, I had a very unique situation in that I have a permanent income. I'm retired U.S. Air Force, so I get military retirement to fall back on every month. That put me in a much better and more feasible situation for taking the plunge for this type of a lifestyle than if I had no supplemental income whatsoever. However, if you don't have a secondary income flow, don't let that discourage you at all. I have many friends who have come here with no secondary income whatsoever and with very little startup money, and they've loved the experience and had a great time and been really successful. So don't let the secondary income issue discourage you. But if you have one, you're in a much better position to make things work. You don't have to rely solely on your teaching income to get by. So that can make a big difference for those of you that do have an additional income source. Okay, so on to the series. I want to briefly overview the topics that I'm going to be covering in this series so that you kind of know what to expect, what you're going to learn, what you'll hear about. So in this 10-part series, we start with episode 1, which is where. And in the where video, I'll discuss where in the world is best to teach English abroad, in my opinion. I'll talk about where you might get your certification to teach English, whether you go through a TEFL or a TESOL program or something other. We'll talk about where to live. I'll go over hostels and hotels, apartments, homes that are for rent, and things of that nature. And where to work. And when we talk about where to work, I'm going to go over different options such as self-employment, teaching corporate classes. With the self-employment, you have tutoring or private lessons you can do. You might teach at a high school or a university. You might even work for a company that hires English teachers to teach at various schools. So there's several options that we're going to go over in that first video. In the second video, the episode's entitled What? And in the What video, I'm going to discuss basically what life is like, specifically in Vietnam. I'm going to go over the culture here. I'm going to talk about the food, the transportation, the traffic, pollution, weather, shopping, and just about everything you can think of from the perspective of what you could expect from life in Vietnam if you decide that this is where you want to come. The third video, episode 3, is teaching. And in the teaching video, I'm going to go over pretty much everything related to teaching English in a foreign country as a second language. So I'm going to focus specifically on Vietnam from my personal experience, but I'll talk about things such as finding a job, what you can expect to earn, which is a big one. The teaching experience itself, I'll go over things like lesson planning, classroom management, the different age ranges that you might teach and what you might face with each. And we'll talk a little bit about time management, types of schools that are out here, and types of learning centers that you might run into. In the fourth video, immigration, I'm going to go over the process of visa run. A visa run is to renew your visa stay for the country that you're in. Here in Vietnam, if you don't have a work permit business visa, then you're on a tourist visa. And a tourist visa requires that every 3 months you leave the country and then re-enter to get a new visa stamp. So we'll go over the visa run process as well as discuss a little bit about work permits and business visas. The next video is budget. And in the budget video, that's the one that probably most of you are going to be the most interested in. I'm going to be talking about your realistic potential for income and your realistic expenses that you can expect to see. So we'll talk about rent, food, basics that you're going to need, medical, different kinds of insurance that you might need, travelers, medical, things of that nature. And I'll discuss different lifestyle approaches and what you can expect to spend or save for each type of lifestyle, depending on how you like to live. Some people are very frugal. I personally am not. In the 6th video, episode 6 is transportation. And in that video, I'm going to go over the various modes of transportation available here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, to include taxis, Grab. Grab is similar to Uber in the States. Go Viet, same kind of thing, different company. We'll talk about personal motorbikes and the process for having one of those here. And we'll talk about the bus system. So we're going to look at the cost, reliability, and safety of each of those options. In the 8th video, I'm going to go over culture. In the culture video, I'm going to discuss things related to living in Vietnam. We're going to talk in more depth about safety, theft, travel, food, acceptance by the locals, vendors here, the bartering system that's very common, customs and courtesies that are expected in the country, and we'll just talk about all things culture related. In the 9th video, weather, I'm going to go over everything about the weather here in Vietnam. I'll discuss the different seasons and show you some video clips of what you can expect. There's really 2 major seasons, the dry season and the rainy season, or wet season, whatever you want to call it. But I'll give you some more detail on weather, what you might need to bring with you for clothing, and what kind of preparations you might need to make to acclimatize to living here in this tropical environment. So in the final episode, episode 10, entitled Nightlife, I'm going to go over just that, nightlife, specifically here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I'll discuss some of the live music venues, some of the night market shopping that's very cool to do. I'll show you and discuss some of the fine dining places with spectacular views for nighttime dining. We'll just go over everything related to what's available for you to do to enjoy out here, and I'll cover the costs related to each, what you can expect to pay in some of these places. So there's some fun places to go, some good things to do, and of course after teaching all day, you want to have a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of downtime, and enjoy yourself while you're here. So I think nightlife is just as important part of it as the episode on travel, where you go out and see some fun sights. So thanks for viewing, really appreciate it. I hope this video series provides you with some useful information that helps you make your decision on whether or not you're going to teach abroad, and whether or not Vietnam might be the place you'd like to do it in. If you do find these videos useful, please subscribe so that you get updates for new videos. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.